Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So a lot of you guys requested an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3 video, and because this is a Captain America movie year, we're going to see a nice big crossover with the Avengers. So what I'm going to do is talk a little bit about some of the storylines they're doing and some of the characters that they're bringing on. So real quick catch up, where are we at with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Right now they just introduced the idea of the Inhumans. They turned the Terrigen bomb from the comics that Black Bolt sets off to the fish oil pills of the TV show. So that's the easy segue to Inhumans popping up all over the place that Coulson has to deal with. That he has to track down and try to train or lock up if they're going to be villains. On the movie side of things, we have Civil War brewing, and in the comics, that was kind of like a gun control allegory, whereby a young team, the New Mutants, try to track down some young villains, and it turns into this massive catastrophe with a bunch of school children dying. That sparks the national debate that sets off the Superhero Registration Act. So a lot of people are wondering if they're going to do this New Mutant storyline with like one of Coulson's teams, a bunch of people are going to get killed, and that's going to throw to Civil War in the movies. The TV show's already confirmed that they're doing Secret Warriors from the comics, but I think what they're going to do is they're going to blend that thematically with what happens with the New Mutants leading into Civil War. Well, the really bad news is that even if the movies flow from that same type of energy, they're going to be so busy trying to explain what's going on with all the characters in the movie that they probably won't have time to talk about the TV show a whole lot. That's why whenever the TV shows cross over with the movies, it's always way bigger on the TV side of things, just because they have so much more time to address story points. The movie has like 2.5 hours to tell its story, and that's it, but you could tell a TV story over the course of like 4 or 5 episodes. But really the point of contention here is that new Inhumans are popping up everywhere. There's a couple of them they've already confirmed for the TV show. We know we're going to see a version of the Superhero Registration Act, so that means we're probably going to see a version of the Stanford incident in the TV show. Just when you think of Namorita versus Nitro setting off that giant explosion in the comics, think of the Project Caterpillar people that Skye and Lincoln are going to be working with. If you haven't read the comics, you don't know what the Stanford incident is. It's a bunch of teenage superheroes and the New Mutants tracking down some teenage supervillains. Namorita, one of the new warriors, starts taunting one of the supervillains, Nitro, and he sets off a huge explosion that kills her, a couple other team members, and a bunch of school children nearby. So on the macro scale, that turns into Captain America versus Iron Man on two sides of the Superhero Registration Act. But on the small scale, like on the TV level of things, we could see a Speedball type arc. He's another one of the New Mutants that renames himself Penance after the tragedy. I know that name sounds kind of on the nose, but you get the idea. It just seems logical that for like a mid-season finale big WTF episode, they would do something along the lines of Stanford. Now, Captain America Civil War, the movie, will come right around the last couple of episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, like the back half of the season. So by that time, they'll be getting ready to close the season down. They'll be getting ready for their biggest episodes. And one of the new characters that they've cast is going to be someone that's working for the government. So I think it's going to be on like the other side of the Superhero Registration Act. It's Constance Zimmer. You might not recognize her right away, but she's been in a whole bunch of stuff. They didn't say who she's playing, but I'm thinking of her as like the Norman Osborn Hammer type person. Basically somebody on the government side of things that's going to try and take possession of all of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s assets in the wake of what happens. Like Coulson fails to stop big tragedy, so the government gets involved. So that government person is going to be one of the new villains of the season, although not an evil villain. The evil villain is really going to be the Ward character. He's going to be one of the big bads of the season too. But he'll be the I want to hurt you type of villain, not the I want to take your toys type of villain. What about supervillains though? They have cast the Lash character, who is an Inhuman, who's just like really upset with the idea of a bunch of other people getting to be Inhumans, who he feels like don't have the right to take in the Terrigen Mist. They kind of tease that plot point in the Inhuman settlement, where it's like, it's a very big deal to take in the Terrigen Mist, and it's only very rarely that they create a new one. So think about what happens when fish oil goes all over the world. There's going to be Inhumans everywhere. Naturally, some of the pre-existing Inhumans are going to be really upset with the idea of like average Joe getting to be an Inhuman if they feel like they don't have the right to. How can superheroes be special if anybody can be a superhero? It's like the Incredible storyline. If everybody's special, then nobody's special. Tell that to a group of kids. One or two of you, yeah, you'll probably be special. The rest of you, nope, you're not special. But moving along to the spin-off show, a lot of you have been asking me about Marvel's Most Wanted. That's basically like the Mockingbird show that they're doing. I actually recorded a video about that, but just didn't get around to editing it. I was actually pretty upset with like a couple of the things that they had teased about it. It just seemed like there were a couple big logic holes in the pitch that we got from the network. So it's supposed to be a show all about Bobby and Hunter. They don't want it to be a direct spin-off. They didn't explain how they're going to do it without it being a crossover. It could be a prequel. I'm guessing not. I think it'll probably end up being a crossover anyway. I think that the person that was explaining it from the network just misquoted some stuff. But instead of just calling it Mockingbird, they're calling it Marvel's Most Wanted, making it sound like it's going to be a bug hunt, like an inhuman bug hunt. I'm totally fine with that idea. Adrian Palicki and Nick Blood are two of the best characters on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now, which is kind of a bad thing because the show is losing them, but the show already has too many characters, so it's going to have to jettison some people. But I think the reason why they're calling it Marvel's Most Wanted is because they want Marvel in the title. They want like that brand recognition so that people who have absolutely no idea what's going on will just see the name Marvel and click on it. I guess you can't fault them for that, but usually when you put like the Marvel title on something, it comes with certain levels of expectation. But here are the important dates. So S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming back September 29th. That's like the week after Gotham and a couple other shows, like Heroes Reborn is the week before that too. Most of the TV stuff I do, like the DC stuff and the Marvel stuff, is coming back the last 2 weeks in September and the first week in October. I know you're all starting to get really bored because it's the end of the summer and everybody has to go back to school. What I'm probably going to do for my next Marvel video is my favorite Inhuman characters, so be sure to subscribe to get that. If there's anything that you guys want me to talk about around the TV shows or the movies, just let me know in the comments. Just in case you guys didn't see it, we got a small teaser for what the teams are going to be during Captain America Civil War. You can click here to learn all about that, and you can click here for the Star Wars Episode 7 teaser they just dropped the other day. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.